Alright guys, it's Austin Acid, welcome back to the channel. So, we're going to try our first deck today, and it is Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. So, let's go over her. Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh at 2/2 for 3, 2 red, 1 other. Whenever you cast a red spell, untap Chandra, and then you can tap Chandra. She deals 1 damage to target player. If she's dealt 3 or more damage this turn, exile her and then return her onto the battlefield transformed. When she becomes transformed, she becomes Chandra Roaring Flame. Loyalty of 4, +1 deals 2 damage to target player, -2 deals 2 damage to target creature, and -7 deals 6 damage to each opponent. Each player dealt this damage gets an emblem that at the beginning of each upkeep, this emblem does 3 to you. So this deck is half Punisher themed and half Chandra themed, and MANACURVES is the one that gave me the idea for this deck. She runs a purely Chandra themed deck, and I liked what I've seen, so I built my own. We run 14 Planeswalkers, Chandra Blaze, Chandra Nalar, Chandra Acolyte of Flame, Chandra Awakened Inferno, Chandra Fire Artisan, Chandra Flamecaller, Chandra Heart of Fire, Chandra Pyromaster, Chandra Torture Defiance, and Chandra Firebrand. All Chandras have something to do with either burning, instants to sorceries, pretty much that style stuff. So all the Chandras are here to basically help pretty much deal damage whenever and give us some card advantage. We got Jaya, Venerated Fire Mage, which basically helps any of our red sources deal more damage. We got Koth, who's here basically as ramp, and if we emblem him, then all our mountains will deal 1. Luca's here. Luca's a form of card advantage for us, and that's purely it. We got Tybalt. Tybalt's here to make sure people can't gain too much life, because I'm basically trying to burn them out with punching damage, so gaining life kind of sucks. So we run 18 creatures, 19 if we count Chandra. We got Brash Honor, indestructible 1/1 for 5 mana, 4 colorless and a red. And whenever it's dealt damage, it deals damage to any target opponent. And then you can tap a red into other, tap it. Brash Honor fights another target creature. So this is basically a big defensive creature in case people want to come in and deal damage to us. Then we can at least deal some of the damage back. Chandra Incinerator, basically a way to make sure non-combat damage gets pretty much everywhere, I guess you could say. Cinder Pyromancer, a little pinger that untaps for every red spell you play. When you got damage doublers stacked on, then it becomes pretty gross after a while. Coastline Marauders, he's one of the new cards I added to the deck. Being able to attack, and it gets +1/+1 for each land that the defending player controls. It's pretty sweet. Then having Encore and be able to attack all 3 players at once, yeah, that's definitely where we want to be in this deck. Fanatic of Mogus, more incidental damage. Grim Lavamancer, for obvious reasons. Harsh Mentor, he's one of our, how can I say this, Punisher effects? Yeah, Punisher effects. So whenever an ability of an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield is activated, if it's not a mana ability, that player takes 2 damage. So hopefully this will help slow down a lot of infinite combos or just value engines in general. Sorry about that. Emulation Shaman is just another Punisher effect. Inferno Titan, lightning bolt on a body every time he attacks and he comes in. He has fire breathing. He's just all around great beater. Iron Mirror for ramp. The Heb the Eternal. So like at the pre-combat main phase, post-combat main phase, my apologies. So for each 1 damage each of my opponents have lost, I get a red mana. So hopefully if I did enough, I can do get a lot of mana and do a little cool turn. Palladium Mirror, another ramp creature. Runaway Steamkin, obviously another little combo ramp creature. Silent Arbiter, this just makes it so like if somebody has a go wide strategy, or if we don't have enough blockers, that only 1 creature can attack. This way it slows the game down long enough for the Punisher effects to overwhelm everybody. Stuffy Doll, pretty much the same thing as Brash Taunter. It's a 5-drop for 5 colorless, 0/1. He's indestructible. You choose a player though, that is the main difference. And then whenever he's dealt damage, you deal that much damage to that chosen player. He can tap and deal 1 damage to itself. So again, just another detour so people don't want to attack us. Torbrand, he gives +2 damage to pretty much any red source we have. So it's just another damage doubler for that. Farchild, whenever it deals damage to a player, it gives that many survivor tokens to that player. And then survivors, our opponents cannot block and they cannot attack planeswalkers. I control or me. And when he leaves the battlefield, all survivors leave. It's just a great little token engine and gives me a way to get through, and it keeps the combat going everywhere else. Zozu, he's our secret commander. He was originally the first commander, but I changed it to Chandra. Zozu does 2 damage anytime a land comes into play, so a land strategy, anybody who decides to ramp a little early, pretty much it just makes sure that people don't get out of hand. So we'll go on down here to the sorceries in instance. As you see, there's not too many sorceries in instance. Just basically ones I figured would be kind of useful in the deck. Biforce, obvious. Artifact removal. Collective Defiance. It can, it's basically a wheel for us, but it can deal some damage. Mana Geyser, obvious ramp, and combo potential piece. Keep speaking of a combo, which I will show you in a minute. It's not an infinite combo, but it is just a fun little combo. Perforos's intervention. I apologize for that. Basically, it's there to make blockers or attackers if we need. Or I guess more block attackers. But if we have Brash Taunter or Stuffy Doll on the field, we have a lot of red mana. We could dump the red mana into it. Sorry about that. We could dump the red mana into it. And then target either Stuffy Doll, or we can target Brash Taunter, deal it to them, which can target an opponent. Fry, obvious for Planeswalker removals, mostly, well, obviously only in blue and white. But on averagely, I found this is really helpful for me. Lightning Bolt, I just really like Lightning Bolt. Price of Progress, if people have too many non-basics, they get damaged for each one. Skullcrack, instant way to stop players from gaining life this turn, just in case I don't have Tibalt. Volcanic Fallout basically is just a little board wipe, but with the damage doublers and stackers, it can take out pretty much every creature. Except for Indestructibles, of course. Ankar Mishra. It's another Zozu, so if I have both, they're taking 4 damage per land. if I have any damage doublers or stackers, it becomes outrageously gross. Ever-flowing chalice for obvious ramp, gauntlet of power to pump up my creatures and also ramp. Neville's Disc is my board wipe. No real reason behind that besides there's not many great board wipes in red, honestly. Nyx Lotus is obvious more ramp. Pyromancer's Gauntlet, which is just basically another damage increaser. Soul Ring, Swiftfoot Boots, Chainveil. So when I was talking about a combo earlier, this is what I was talking about. Chainveil, and then you get just a couple of the Planeswalkers. If you have Mana Geyser and a way to double your mana, it becomes really fun because you activate Chainveil, and then Planeswalkers can activate their abilities once for each other Planeswalker, I believe. For each Planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalties for as though none was activated this turn. So, if you have a lot of them, it stacks up. I have no way to untap this and abuse this. This is just a fun little combo for me. You usually Chainveil, Cough, and a couple of Chandras, and you can deal outrageous damage with a lot of mana. Thran Dynamo, obvious ramp. Tome of Legends, card draw. I'm just kind of testing this out. So far, I've been finding it's really good for me. We're going to go into the enchantments. We have Aether Flash. So whenever a creature comes into play, it deals 2 damage. So in case we have enough Punisher effects out there, and we're trying to get to the point where we want to kill our opponents and we know our opponents have smallest creatures or we have damage doublers out, Aether Flash basically takes care of them immediately when they come out. Burning Earth. Burning Earth deals 1 damage to them whenever they tap a non-basic. So if they have a lot of non-basics, they're going to be taking a lot of damage each time they cast a spell. Citadel of Pain. At the end of each player's turn, Citadel of Pain deals X damage to the player, where X is the number of untapped lands they control. So if we have somebody trying to play on opponent's turns, or just control the board through instance, or use Flash, this way it makes sure it will punish them for not playing on their turn. Dictate of Twin God, damage doubler for obvious reasons. Enchanters Bane. So red doesn't really have a lot of great ways to get rid of enchantments. I'm going to be pretty honest about that. But Enchanters Bane is really, really good for me. It's a Punisher effect. It's for 2, 1 red, 1 other. At the beginning of the end step, my target enchantment, it deals damage to its controller equal to the murder mana cost, unless they sacrifice it. So this could either kill them or they start sacrificing stuff. So enchantments aren't too much of a worry this time for red. Fire Emancipation triples the damage. Great red card all around. Mana Barbs, same thing as Burn Earth, but it's for every land. So they'll take 1 damage for every land they tap to play a spell. Let's say you have Fire Emancipation or Dictate. Then it just becomes a lightning bolt or a shock per land. Then people are just going to stop playing Magic. Pyrostatic Pillar, whenever they cast a spell with convert mana cost 3 or less, it deals 2 damage to them. It's Eidolon. It's the red Eidolon, but I wanted just the enchantment instead of the creature because a lot of the times enchantments are kind of harder to remove from creatures. Rivalry. During each player's upkeep, if that player controls more lands than any other player, it deals 2 damage to them. So, if somebody's ramping way farther than anybody else, they're going to be punished for it in this game. Sulfuric Vortex, another way to make sure people can't gain life, and it deals 2 damage every upkeep. So it's a clock, it keeps the game going, and eventually people are going to realize they're not going to be able to sit there and just wait for the combos. We got Tectonic Instability. Whenever a land comes into play, tap all lands that player controls. So if somebody's ramping, or if we have any of our damagers for lands when they come out, it's basically just a fun little combo to say, hey, you're going to take damage no matter what at this point. Underworld Breach, just great card advantage. You get pretty much anything you want back from the graveyard as long as there's enough to cast it and exile for the escape cost. But otherwise, great card. Can also do a little combo with extra mana stuff here. Yeah, it's just a great card. And then Worst Toil. So if you have Citadel, or if you have Burn Earth, or Mana Barbs, just make sure their lands either become all tapped or they don't tap. So either way, you're trying to make sure they take damage from something. So eventually, you get enough things down, people just keep playing Magic. They get punished for it. They don't play Magic. They get punished for it. And then people are going to realize they're going to have to get rid of you pretty fast, or the game's going to be over before they know it. Last little thing I got to go over is lands. We have a single Fable Passage. I had one. No real reason behind it. I just like it. Reach is just a way to draw cards. Yes, it makes everyone draw. But as we were talking, red doesn't have many card advantages, especially this way. So this way I have an extra way to draw cards. We got 31 mountains. And then we got Valakut. Basically just turns all our mountains into lightning bolts once we get to 7 or more. So, like I was saying before, the basic ideal is to get to the point where people don't want to play Magic. They just want to wait until they get ready. But we're going to keep pressuring and putting on damage and effects that are going to make them either play, or it's just going to take their ability to play from them 100% because it's going to be too much damage stacked against them. And then at that point, you're just going to win the game. So yeah, that was my Chandra deck. These are all the little tokens you need for it. If you want to try it out, it's only 40 ticks, 40.5 ticks online. I built this in paper. I had a lot of pieces, so I honestly don't know how much it cost me in paper. So thanks for listening. My name is Austin Acid. Hit the like button if you like. Subscribe if you wanna. And if you want to stay up to date with me on my journey, why don't you hit that little bell notification. Alright guys, I'll catch you later.